This presentation will focus on a small winery in Denmark, Western Australia. We will be looking at the sustainability and resilience of the winery in terms of environmental resilience, economic resilience and social resilience. Established in 1997, Moombaki is a small, family-run winery located west of Denmark in the beautiful Carrion Tingle forests on the banks of the Kent River. A gentle north-facing slope, gravelly soils and a temperate climate create the perfect environment for their hands-on viniculture. Moombaki are committed to producing distinctive, handcrafted wines that are consistent, high-award achievers for not only the taste, but the ecological approach and green practices in vineyard management and wetland protection.
You know, we started doing it at a very grassroots level, and you know, a lot of the sort of vineyards that you visit or family wineries, they've come from a lot of money and had, you know, money for lots of infrastructure. We've come from a very, you know, make it happen through hard work and determination, and there's been setbacks along the way.
Some issues included the substantial cost for land preparation, the relationships with other businesses that were in charge of production and barrelling, and that the communications and transactions were reliant on internet and phone line connections.
We get our wine made under contract, and this was actually over in the Prongerups where we had it. Now actually the whole winery's been abandoned, it's all the talk about karma, but we essentially grew some outstanding fruit, truly outstanding, and the winery was a cooperative of 4 wineries, so all the owners had their own agenda, and the staff were treated appallingly bad. I really liked the guys, they worked so hard there, but they gave their notice and left, and they didn't get new staff in place in time, and records got deleted, wines got mixed, wines got spoilt where they turned to vinegar.
One of the main challenges facing the wine industry today is the supermarket duopoly, which is dominating the market. These giant corporations are increasingly monopolizing the wine retail scene, driving prices down and killing the competition. Increasingly, the supermarket duopoly has exploited its market power to reduce shelf space for branded products and push their own label and control-labelled wines.
Dan Murphy's actually approached us. It's a good story actually. They approached us to sell our wines, and the contract came from the head office in Melbourne. And I looked through the contract and I couldn't believe immediately they wanted 12%, 8% discount for what they call ranging, just to put it on the shelf. 4% discount for ullage. Ullage is what happens when wine evaporates in a barrel, but it doesn't happen in a bottle, so, you know, but they still, you know, they're going to slug you for that. Then they wanted us to set our wine at a set recommended retail price, but a clause in the fine print would allow them to discount it 20% less than what we'd be selling here at the cellar door, which I think is totally unethical. And it's amazing how many people I tell that story to, and they said, it's funny that we're in the cellar doors in Margaret River and the wines are all more expensive, buying it direct at the winery, than we could get it at the discount, you know. So, and unfortunately, you know, if you're a medium-sized producer, if you don't deal with those guys, you've got nowhere to sell your product. We were small enough that I could tell the guy effectively to visit a taxidermist.
Moombaki is based on a small business model, meaning that a large portion of their wine is sold directly to consumers, eliminating middleman distribution systems, and a small vineyard meant Melissa and David had absolute control over their produce and how it was cared for.
I mean, the same thing can happen to us. You know, we had one year where nothing ripened, so we didn't pick any of our fruit, and we had the entire year where we pruned, we put all the nets on the vines, we did everything right. And I think that's when I was saying earlier, you know, these are the external. David Brewer, a very famous organic grower, Temple Brewer Wines, lost his entire Verdelho crop in one day to sunburn. Large areas of Franklin wineries, vineyards got wiped out in one night from a big hailstorm. So.
Started our journey by being interested in the environment and the forest and what we had on our doorstep. We're trying to be as sustainable and green and have you know, these amazing ideals. And
when Melissa and David moved in, they planted 3,000 yellow tingle, 1,000 red tingle, and many mid-story and understory flowering plants that were provided by Green Skills.
There's our wetland. Fisheries have come here and found 2 new species of native fish they haven't found anywhere else. Sorry, 1 new species. But we've got 2 native fish that live in there. We've got the frogs, long-necked turtles, the marron, anything that's aquatic, if you're not doing the right thing, they're particularly frogs, the first thing that goes. We're really conscious about what we use, and basically whatever we put anywhere on this property, that's our drainage. Right there, that's the sinkhole it all ends up in. So if we don't do the right thing, the wetland's really going to suffer.
I loved like being out here. I was healthy, happy, you know, beaches right there, and with the people I love. Yeah. Whereas like if we go up on the hill and have a campfire, it's just like I just think, and like I can just feel my brain just kind of having like all this space to think. You just hear the frogs by the river, and maybe some dog like I don't know how far away, way off on like Tyndale Road, somewhere over there. It's just like I can think, I can breathe, and
So you don't mind the isolation?
Social and economic stability comes from the personalised relationships that Melissa and David had worked hard to form with their customers through their cellar door sales, social events such as picking days and hosted dinner parties, and their online presence and monthly newsletter. Ongoing issues for Moombaki Winery include the unpredictable climate, profit that relies on a small customer base, threat from pests and disease, the duopoly, communications that rely on internet, and the trust in partners to produce their wine. Ongoing efforts include their eco-friendly and sustainable living approaches, the monitoring of environmental factors in their wetland and ecosystem, interaction with their customer base and social events, and their small business management approach.
As a result of the ongoing efforts by Melissa and David, we perceive Moombaki Wines to be socially and economically resilient, while also going to great lengths to ensure that it is also environmentally sustainable. However, it must also be recognized that due to unexpected climate changes and the often temperamental nature of viticulture, absolute resilience is not possible.